What is up, you guys? So in this video for this week, I'm gonna be going over the always hot, controversial subject of tubs and why I keep all my snakes in tubs and not in terrariums or enclosures. So stay tuned for this one. Alright, so tubs. It's always a hot topic with mostly ball pythons, but other snakes. Now, I did say that I keep all of my snakes in tubs. That is a lie. I don't. I keep my Retex, carpet, white lip, or all in enclosures in the downstairs room. The tubs are all for ball pythons, and there's a reason why I keep all my ball pythons in tubs. I'm gonna be going over all those reasons right now. All right, so I just want to say, first off, there's no proper or improper way to do this. If you keep your snakes in an enclosure, that's fine. You can do that. It works. You know, it's not, in my opinion, it's not as easy, or you're in more control of like the heat and the humidity with the tub, but you can do it. And I also want to say, when I first started keeping snakes, I did keep my ball pythons. My first 3 were in tanks, and there's a reason why I switched. All right, so one of the first reasons, and one of the biggest for me for switching to tubs for my ball pythons, was the fact that I can keep the humidity levels way easier in a tub. The heat is able to not drop or fluctuate as bad as it does in an enclosure or a tub. If you're keeping your snakes in a fish tank, terrarium, Exoterra style tub or tank, you have an entire top that's exposed. Keeping humidity in that is disastrous. I remember when I had my first 3 snakes, I would have to soak it, not soak it, but just constantly spray the entire enclosure just to get the humidity, around like 30 to 40%. And then when it was going in the shed, it was even harder. I had to start putting towels on top, and it was a nightmare. With these, I can keep the humidity levels roughly at about 40 to 60, anywhere between there. I have a humidifier that runs, it keeps the entire room at about 50. The tubs are normally around that too. When they go in the shed, I give it a quick spray down when they're in deep, deep blue, and I get damn near perfect sheds every time. In fact, I will show you one right now. But yeah, guys, just to show you, this is a tub, nice and clean. She just shed. Oh, she's bull wrapping a little bit too, it looks like. And there is a nice, perfect shed. This is what happens when you keep them in tubs. Nice and clean. She eats from me every single week, and she's always having great sheds, so don't knock it until you try it, is the way I see it. And this is another one that just shed right there. You can see it, and look at that perfect shed, nice and clean. Looks like a piece of poop right there that I will be cleaning up after I shoot this video. But yeah, guys, like I said, it's so much easier for them to go through their shed cycle in a tub versus enclosures. Enclosures make it so much more difficult to keep the humidity at the right levels. All right, so now we're gonna do like the tub sizes that I use throughout their lives. Usually I start them out. This is an FB8, I believe. It's relatively, not super small, not huge, but unless a ball python, when they're small, they can sit in the corner and they can touch almost everything right here, which is what they like. They like safety. This acts as like a large hide of sorts. So instead of, having a huge tank, you have to have 3 or 4 hides in it. You put them in here. You can put a hide in here. When I put them in the bigger tubs, I will occasionally put a hide in there just so they feel a little bit safer. But this is all you need, man. It's got the bowl mold, so you put a bowl of water in there. They can't knock it over and get water everywhere. I will typically keep the back end wet and the front end dry. That way they have a place to go to get dried off. They don't want to have to sit in an entire wet tub, the whole time. And when they, shed and poop, I'll clean whatever's around there. And I spot clean a few times a week. I'll go in here every day. I'll open every tub. I'll check. If I see poop, if I see a urate, take it out, clean it down. Good to go. But yes, this is when they're small, roughly about like 200-300 grams. And then I move them on to the next one. Next one will be this, I think it's a V35 or FB35. I'm not sure. They're relatively good size, not massive. They're a little bit low profile, so they're a little bit, they're not like a giant tub. It's not the same size as a FB40. But I keep them in here till roughly about like 600 to 700 grams. On the site it says you can keep them to like about 1,000, but I like to move them out before that because they do look a little bit too big, in my opinion, to be in here at 1,000 grams. All right, and then one of the final tubs they will be in is the FB40. I love these tubs. Shout out to Freedom Breeder, you guys make awesome quality tubs. I will continue buying these until the end of time, basically. But they go in here at about 600, 700 grams, and this is where they're at until, for me, it's roughly 2,500 plus, and then I'll add them to a bigger tub, which I'll show off in a second, but this is the way to go, guys. Like I said, molded cup area. I usually, if it's, you know, if it's a ball python, is relatively small still, like 500 to 600 grams, I might put a hide in here just so they feel a little bit more comfortable, but they usually don't even need it at all, you know? So next tub size up. And this is the final one. This is the big one. This is the FB80. It's huge. Obviously it's empty because I don't have that many 2,500 plus gram girls, but this is a good tub. I mean, I think it's one of the bigger ones you can get in this style, if I'm not mistaken, but they got plenty of room in here, you know, to move around. You can, like, again, put a hide in there, make them comfy, but usually a 2,500 gram snake is not gonna want a hide in this, and they probably won't also fit. But yeah, these are the tub sizes that I use in my ball python collection. All right, and you guys also gotta remember, you know, if you're buying a ball python, it is likely coming from a breeder. What do breeders use? They all use tub systems. So that ball python is coming from a tub atmosphere or habitat, whatever you want to call it, a tub life. It's been living in a tub, and then you're gonna stick it in a 4-foot enclosure where it's exposed, it's never been there, it's, you know, there's windows all around it. It's gonna stress out, it's not gonna want to eat, you're probably gonna want to be taking it out and holding it, and you're putting that poor little snake through hell. So if I'm gonna give you advice, it would be, you don't have to keep it in a tub your whole life. You know, if you're just someone that wants to keep, you know, 2 or 3 snakes, by all means, use enclosures, use, you know, I'd prefer not exoterras. I think, you know, you can get the PVC ones, which I think are the best way to go for any reptile, but you can go that route. But I would advise keeping them in small tubs while they're babies so they don't stress out. And I'm gonna go over what can happen when they stress out. All right, so like I was saying, these things will stress out if, you know, they're exposed, they're in too big of an open thing. I know people are always like enrichment. You can put enrichment in these tubs when they're small. You can still put sticks and plants and stuff for them to crawl over. You know, I've seen people put toilet paper rolls in there so they can kind of cruise through those. There's all kinds of things you can do in these tubs. Hell, I've seen people that make these bioactive, which is a whole other crazy story. I don't even know how to begin there, but yeah, guys, you're gonna stress it out if you put it in a big enclosure. It's not gonna eat. That's the last thing you want. The last thing you want is your snake to not eat. I have a whole video on that. It's in one of these corners. I can never remember if it's the right or the left and I'm pointing it. It's in one of them. How to fix that. But yeah, guys, the last thing you want is your ball python off of food. Then it's just gonna stress you out. It's gonna stress the snake out. Putting them in a tub eliminates that altogether. I can recall not had any real issues, minus one snake, off of eating. Everyone else, they might miss a meal here or there when they're in shed, or maybe they just don't want to eat that week, but all my snakes eat. You know, I don't go through the issue of wasting food. When I first started getting snakes, I kept the first 3 in enclosures, like I said, and I had, you know, not all the time, but there was definitely moments where like snake wouldn't eat for like 2 months. Why? Because it's probably stressed out. You know, doesn't want to be in there. It likes confined, small, dark places, and that's the other thing. I was the same way. I wanted these ball pythons as like display animals. You know, I thought, oh, it'd be cool to have, you know, like a big wall of ball pythons and you can see them all cruising around. They don't do that. They basically sit in their hides all day. I have a ball python. My first ball python, my normal ball python, is at my work, at my office. So, you know, I'm telling you right now, I have both methods. I keep it in a nice, you know, big enclosure. It's eating, it's shedding, everything's fine with that snake. But do I see it? Typically not all the time. I mean, mostly she's just sitting in her hide for the most part, you know. That's what they do. I mean, that is what they do. They hide, they come out to get water, they come out to get food, and then they go back to their hide. These aren't, you know, green tree pythons, emerald tree boas. Hell, even retics are out moving around more. White lips, even though my white lip likes to be in his hide a lot too, so he's kind of like a ball python in a way. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. But yeah, guys, they're not going to be these display snakes that come out and you see all the time. They're going to be in their hide because they like the small dark places, which is what the tubs offer them. Alright guys, and the most important thing with just not even just tubs, but in general, when you're having a snake, I hammer on this all the time, you want thermostats and you want a temp gun. If you're not using either of these, you're gonna cook your snake at some point, if you haven't already. So please, for the love of God, use those things. They are important. These, heat pads and everything, they don't turn off by themselves. You need the thermostat to control it, otherwise you're just gonna have 120-degree hot spot 24/7. Your snake's gonna be beef jerky at some point. Yeah, not good, not good. But on that note, I do like to keep my temperatures pretty close to like ambient. My room, I have a little like oil heater in here. It will keep the ambient temperature from about 79 to about 82. It goes up and down throughout the day. It goes off and on, so it just kind of fluctuates ambient wise. And then I have the heat panels on my racks, the hot spots, whatever you want to call them. Those are about 86 to 88. I know some people will tell you 89 to 92. I personally do not like having the hot spot that hot. I feel like there's too much that can go wrong. If a thermostat does fail, I feel like at least if it fails with it lower than that, you have more of a chance to come in and realize it before your snake's cooked. But yeah, I like to keep temperatures ambient 79, 82, hotspot 86, 88. And I've seen perfectly great success. There has been no issues with snakes having problems digesting or anything like that. They're all doing great here. But yeah guys, that's all for this video. It's been a hot topic, especially recently. I saw some hot takes on it, and people, you keep your snakes in tubs, you just care about money, not snakes. No, I care about my snakes a great deal. I come in here and I check every day. If there's a piece of poop, take it out. If there's, bark that's too wet, take it out, put drier bark in. I love these snakes. I would never subject them to horrible living conditions, and I don't think these tubs are. And like I said, I have a ball python at work that's in an enclosure, so I do both. All of my retakes and my white lip and my carpet downstairs, they are all in enclosures, so you can do both. Just because one person keeps it this way doesn't mean they're wrong, and just because you keep it that way doesn't mean you're right. There are multiple methods to keeping reptiles. So let's just stop with the whole inner fighting within the snake and reptile community and thinking, well, I do it this way, so I'm right, you're wrong. You hate your animals because you keep them in tubs. That ain't it, chief. That ain't it. Quit causing drama. We don't need that. We already have enough battles fighting unjust laws, which, support USARK. If you're not supporting USARK, you're doing not only yourself, but the entire reptile community a huge disservice. At least get the bronze tier. That's the least you can do. Or, just continuously donate and support them. But yeah, guys, that's all for this video. Like I said, it's a personal, I'm getting my personal takes on it. Hopefully I don't get too much crap for it. I'm sure, the way the internet is, I'm sure the internet will be totally understandable with the title of this video and will not get any dislikes or hate. 100%. But yeah, guys, like always, thanks for the level of support, and I will see you on the next one. Take it easy.